Yes, now I want to take you through regenerative agriculture, which is like a whole bigger picture of what we need to do, what we need to integrate, what we need to avoid, and what we need to be valuing. First of all, what is regenerative agriculture? What is regenerative? From the word itself, it's something that is regenerating itself. Yeah, you're trying to. It's more sustainable. So the whole point is what it is, and it's all that we have been talking. Yeah, incorporating all the practices of composting, enhancing your soil life, enhancing your crop health life, maintaining your water. Whatever Rob is doing, trying to bring up your water table from Ukochini by incorporating all the soils and all that. So it's just the same thing, but I will also touch a little bit on pest and management, and also integration of livestock in the in your farm. So I think we talked about building and maintaining healthy soil, boosting social biology, and carbon sequencing, diverse cropping systems. That is when now you have to intercrop different crops with others. For instance, like for the farms that now you guys want to do herbs, as a first thing indicator, or maybe the first thing to do that I advise is using legumes before growing your crop. Like now, maybe you're in the propagation stage, you're preparing your land. Before you place your seedlings there, I prefer someone to do kunde. Yeah, who knows kunde? Kunde, they are bean family. Yeah, they are actually feeders of the soil. They will give you a lot more nitrogen that your crops need to avoid the boosting of nutrients. And then you don't uproot it when you're harvesting it. Clip it, leave the roots in the ground, and then come and plant your crop. It takes 28 days for kunde to grow. So I'm assuming, for instance, you're propagating your herbs now, and you have a month to plant, or maybe a month and a half, then do kunde first. Go to Kikuyu, call Mama Mboga, mwambie kujia kunde. Cut them all, leave the roots in the ground, and then plant again. Utakuwa umesaidia way more. And if you can see what is happening around, I think in states where they have these degraded soils, the first thing they do is to do legumes, the chickpeas. They can grow very well in degraded soils. They don't need a lot of water, and it's a fast way of healing your soil. Yeah, grow more givers to your soil than takers. Yep, and then integrate livestock wisely. Yes, I love chicken a lot, but I say to someone, don't use the compost in the compost. But chickens are one of the best animals or birds to keep when you're doing all organic farming. They are the best weeders. They are the best compost mixers. So we went with Robert Olepangi farm, and they had these piles of compost and chickens were doing the turning. And how cool was that? So for the chicken manure, because of how chickens have been affected due to their, you can't find an original chicken now. Kama zile za ushago siku hizi ni ngumu sana. Uko nazo? Are you sure it's not a assassin? The old chicken, they used to be tiny chickens, and these tiny eggs, but very delicious. So what happened? They incorporated Sasso breeds to the improved chickens, and now they have really affected their gut systems. So you realize chicken poop has a lot of ringworms, the nematodes, and most of them, they are usually the root feeding nematodes. So you don't encourage you to use that for your composting. Never use also your pet litter for your composting. Maybe you have a small puppy somewhere, where they have a lot of pathogens. You don't want to put them in your soil. So the best thing to do is anything that is chewing carb. Mbuzi, anything that is feeding on green. And also pig manure is good. Yeah, pig is really, really good. However, chicken waste, I want to shoot now how to deal with it. Yeah, it's actually one of the best suppressors of weeds. You want to control it. I learned that from Rob. Yeah, you bring your chicken guano, and then you sprinkle in your field up to 4 inches, 3 to 4 inches. yeah, chicken manure. It has got high levels of nitrogen and ammonia at the same time, so that helps in weeds suppression. And then you bring in your compost, and then you start now working. The biology from the compost will neutralize the bad things from the chicken manure, and then you cover it with chips or any mulch of your choice. That is where only I value chicken manure. You can also use it for your fence. Yeah, you do whatever you want. Yeah, because it will be more prolific and you'll have more leaves to do your compost. So that's another thing I can use. You can use it on your trees, they'll be more prolific. So that is all regenerative farming, whereby there is no waste in each and every corner of your land. Make sure every square meter counts and pays you in one way or the other. And that is when now it comes to the next water conservation and management. This is more or less linked to raw permaculture stuff, but I prefer harvesting rainwater as much as possible. Try to do soils. You see, what happens is, if today you are sent to a very arid area, yeah, hakuna miti, hakuna nini, but you happen to get some water, may it be rain or you're buying water from the bowsers. What you need to do is the soils, as Rob is saying. Every contour, when the water hits the contour, as he said, it goes down and pulls the water table from below. So your water table will be getting high. And as Michelle said, your neighbors will be struggling with their crops because their water table is way down there because of what they're doing the farming. But yours won't be a problem. So it's all about managing that. And within 5 to 8 years, from a very arid place, you can have a haven full of life and green. So it's all about all those practices. And then natural pest and disease management. With the biodiversity, you will have all that. You don't need to worry about anything. It's how God designed it to work. So let's not compromise it. And we are suffering because of compromising our way of doing things and how God needed us to do it. So key principles, again, they're just the same as I got you earlier. They're just the same things. Yeah. So we have the regenerative agriculture benefits. Increase soil fertility and structure. Yes, definitely. By you doing that, that will be automatic. Improved water retention and reduced erosion because of the microbial activity in the soil. Greater. And also, one thing I forgot to mention, when you have compacted soils, ile inakaa ngumu ngumu huko chini, usidanganywe that you need to dig it down. No. Use leachate, use inoculants, use compost, use mulch. And I'm telling you, it will save you a problem. Slowly but sure, steady but sure. And then greater resilience to climate change. As I said, microbes adapt to the changing weather patterns and the demanding environment. So they make sure even the plants they are within them, they are making them adjust and adapt to the changes. So unlike the conventional crops, which depend purely on synthetic fertilizers, depend purely on foliar feeds and boosters. So if you build your soil profile, you will have a longer times of harvesting and your productivity. Higher carbon sequestration, helping mitigate global warming. Yeah, when you compost, you're doing good for the environment. Unlike when and I know everyone says, I know everyone here tuko na ile gari na kujianga takataka maybe once a week, sindio? I know everyone is very happy disposing that organic waste from the kitchen, thinking you're doing very good, but in fact you're doing more harm than good to the environment. Formulation of organic pesticide. I think this is one of the areas that I've been doing quite a lot of research, a lot of trials, and I've seen it work. And you have also to be dynamic, because once you even if it's organic, it's free from damaging anything. But the moment you subject this to your maybe the colony of whatever issue you have, someone mentioned somewhere spider mites and stuff, you don't use one thing for a long time. You need to keep changing. You need to keep changing things because of the breaking the dormancy. Yeah. So like if I use this oil from the thyme oil from thyme and some rosemary extract, the next season I'm not going to use that. I have to use another crop that has similar benefits but different chemical formation or coding. and then that will break the cycle, and then you keep alternating. So these are very detailed field. Are you, John? I've done some, they have really worked well, and I'll share some ratios to you to try. But you have to be careful as well. Don't exceed too much. For some of them, I just use hand to measure, but you can use a scale to measure. I'll give you the precise quantity of what has worked for me on what crops. But overall, you'll have some really good ones. But what you can do, incorporate the indigenous plants like Titonia. Yeah, you know Titonia, the yellow thing with curly leaves. Yeah, that is magic. It gives you way more benefits. It's antifungal, it's fungicide, it's a foliar, it's a natural NPK. The composition, I think you can bear with me. Is it true? Tigonia, yeah. Goats love them a lot. I've seen them along. Yeah. And they're medicinal as well for humans, even malaria. I used to see if you have malaria symptoms, grab 2 leaves, steep them, and they'll be good in water. But don't worry about the taste. It's bitter, but it's worth it. Yeah.
Oh.
And then we have combination of herbicides. So one of the major herbicides I can tell you.
Yeah. I think I'm audible enough. Yeah, one of the herbicides I can recommend, fungicide, is the vermi liquid. Yeah, because of fulvic acid that will start repairing your issues pole. And then once you compost, because fungal spores, they hide in your soil. Yeah, you might think you have sorted your problem now, but you had spores in your soil. So it's all about working with the micro level of that soil and that spore to bring something that can neutralize it. Yeah, and that will heal your soil. Other than bringing chemicals after chemicals, that will never help. And mostly, there are 2 types of fungicides. We have the curative and the preventive. I hope you know that. So this is more of the preventive, not curative. Sorry. Curative, you need. Yeah, I'm actually almost done. Yeah. The curative one is the one that is more. I recommend when you need to cure some fungal infections. I've been using baking soda. You know baking soda. You mix it with water. The ratio should be a table. I'll show you the ratios. A tablespoon to a liter of water. But a teaspoon, not full, not heat, flat, full level. And then that can help. Even milk. Milk is a natural anti-fungicide, if you didn't know, whereby you mix equal pints of milk and water, and then you spray to your crops. But that can't be large scale, obviously. What you need for large scale is that. And then ginger as well is well known for its antifungal properties, and oregano oil. So I'll teach you on how to do all this. This was not the day to deal with all those things. Maybe we can create another forum like this, and then we'll have all these things with all the research done and all these experiences, and then you can start making them on your own. You don't have to depend on someone in an agro store somewhere seated selling you poison, and you are happy buying it. Yeah, sorry for that, but I think it's the way now we need to understand more about plants, what they have, what they can help us. And actually, what you don't know is whatever benefits you get from plants is the same benefits also they get from themselves. How? I ever wanted to become a medical doctor in my earlier age career. I love to be a doctor so much, a surgeon to be precise. And God didn't want me to do that. And I really struggled. I got what I got as called for University of Nairobi, but a very different course, project planning and management. And I made an MMB, but was not my calling at all. So, and I've never had passion to pursue it. Anyway, so I've been always doing plants, and I realized, and actually when I was in university, I used to go to the medical students' library section to read about health. I was not reading about money or projects or anything. I just health, what to eat well, the environment. And then I realized we share some diseases with plants, and that's the fortunate thing. So whatever is ailing me today is ailing that tree today. It's only that the symptom from that tree won't be as mine. But either way, we have the same issues. So I will also help you in that. Fungicide, I've said that. So yeah, what are the best practices for application? Many people think you can just spray anything anytime because it's organic, you can spray anytime. But the best time to spray is either early in the morning, and when I say early in the morning is when before the sun comes up. Amka 5 enda kwa shamba, 5 a.m. By 6:30 you are done spraying a problem. And if you are to do it in the evening, do it after the sun has gone down. Don't do it during the day. It's here for decomposition. And you make the process faster. You propel it by shredding them down. This is chips. These are wood chips. This is chipping, not shredding. You can see the way mbowing in dish of a machine and such thing. So this is what we call chips, but there is shredding as well. So shredding ni kama ile unaona shaft cutter. Unaweza ingisha matawi kwa shaft cutter. Some of you can get something to make your waste, and there are some machines which you can do that with, and they are mobile. You see these Juakali machines?
You've already started.
You got it?
Yeah.
Now you're in the right direction. So you can now shred all the waste, but not twigs. So I think now once you get the chip out, you can now get this. But still, shredding is important. Your compost will be way faster than the one you did. Yeah, and then the benefit of this just locking the goodness of the compost and the soil with this. This will be your game changer for your quality control during the harvesting time. Yeah, so this is really important.
Especially fruit trees.
Exactly. Oh yeah, we forgot to mention about another bokashi that we are designing with Rob. Someone said he grows avocado. So, yes.
The soil, we call it in soil biology, soil integrity. It can hold itself no matter what, because there is the microbes which have the glomalin, the glues to attach the soil structures together, yet allow the water to flow through, not eroding it. Okay, Africa loses estimated $68 billion annually from soil nutrient depletion, and this is because of food we are importing. Imagine Kenya tuna import mchele, tuna import matunda. Kenya, you're importing fruits from Israel. I think there's a big problem. We should think ourselves again. Let's focus on what makes more. You see, let me say this. I'm not saying other places, avenues are not important, but each and every person in Today must eat food, true or false. But not every person will wear a cloth. Not every person will buy a car today. Yeah, not every person who needs a house to live in today. But food, that is basic. And now we are harming our food sources. I don't know what we'll be eating in the next future. I don't know. Insects, maybe. Yeah, source of protein. Yeah. Yeah, if you don't kill them, yes. But if we carry on using our conventional ways, insects are in huge danger as they are right now. We are losing 3 species or more than every day. Okay, soil food and safety. Contaminated soils with heavy metals, pesticides can transfer toxins into food crops, posing health risks. Now, this is interesting because my soil mentor, Sue Kahumbu, she went for a talk in Germany, and I want all of you to join our course, Soil ICAO course. It's free. The only thing you need is time and internet connection. Yeah, and it's really great. I'll show you. You'll see her in a few. She went to Germany, I think Western Germany, and the soils were so bad, so bad, to a point whereby they were not in good position to grow food for human consumption. They were growing food for livestock, feed, formulation, and making. And you can see what we are told here. So if you consume the milk from that zone, you're in the problem. If you eat an egg from that zone, in the problem. It's because of how we have killed our soils. And we all know where Bayer is from, Monsanto, from Germany, even though it was American before they bought it back. Roundup Turbo, killing everyone, honestly. Glyphosate, cancer cases. And the most amazing, the most horrifying thing is the greatest species which we are under are the mammals, and mostly me and you. and other sick mammals as well. It's really not so good. Around 30% of agricultural soils globally show signs of contamination affecting food safety and human health. That's a definite. Overuse of chemical fertilizers and pesticides contributes to soil and groundwater contamination. I think I've said it as well. Sustainability benefits. It improves water retention and drought resilience, and that is whereby 1 cubic meter of soil holds up to 20 liters of water. Yeah, and that's practical. I have compost. I have plants in my pots, and I water them I think once in 2 weeks. They are purely compost, and I'm eating my oregano, my thyme, my marjoram every single day from a small pot, 15 centimeter pot. What about now your farm? How much can you do with that? Not limited space for them to grow. Enhanced carbon sequestration, that is climate mitigation. We all are pushed, all of these people here, we are all pushed by SDGs goals. We all know that. Anyone who knows what SDGs are? Great, yeah. Yeah, we are hoping by Vision 2050 will be net zero. That's why Kiongo is having all those solar panels on his roof and he's trying to learn more about how to restore his soil now. They were trying to use bacteria to clean our oceans for that. And the moment you activate your bacteria on the right condition, I think they can break down that chemical. Because I've done it and I've grown stuff with it. And that's the reason why my compost degrades for the first time. And the waste, to be honest, the waste I took, I didn't have, I didn't know exactly because I had mine. We had drops because it was the first. I had Michelle's, and then we collected a few from people we don't know how they manage their food and their kitchens, and it worked. But yeah, you better avoid chemicals at all costs.
And I know Bokashi looks wet. Huh? Can I add, like, in that wet mixture there, my diseased basil?
No, you don't do that.
I think no, I wouldn't do that. Yeah. So for the basil, if what I can maybe say for now, I know Kiongo is worried he's taking sick basil plants after this. I'm assuming the best thing I can do is bonfire.
Bonfire night. We have some marshmallows.
Yeah, that will be correct. But just burn them, and then start afresh now. Okay, now I'll take you through first. I will not take you through the basics of composting now. I have 3 modes of composting, which I'm going to take you through pretty fast. The detailed handouts you'll have the mix of. Yeah. So okay. What is compost and organic waste valorization? What is valorization? That's like adding value to something that it's not there. You bring something viable out of something that you didn't have use of it.
It takes time to change over from conventional farming to organic farming, and that seems to be one of the main questions here today. How long does it take? What is that process? And there is some pain in that process. There's no doubt about it. It can take a year. It can take 2 years. It depends on how you are, what you're putting onto your soil, and it takes time. Yeah, and the less inputs, the more money you're saving. But you're going to struggle at the beginning. It's not an easy transition, and it takes time, and you need patience.
Just want to mention also that we're talking about end market and opportunities in end market, and organic is a very, very sustainable, it's very attractive market, in which case you can't put inputs unless they're natural. So if you start doing it now, you'll be ahead of the game.
And start with a small plot.
Yeah.
You don't have to transform all your greenhouses here. Start small, and then you can try things out, and with an advisor you will transition, and then you can see the results for yourself, instead of taking a huge risk now. But what you can start with is also bringing down not necessarily all the nutrient stuff, but at least all the stuff that kills fungus and insects. So, and the pesticides. So bring that down on the rest of the staff, And then you can still add a bit of the nutrients, to slowly build up your soil, and start with a small plot completely. Do it in stages, and be careful, because also if you cover a lot with your basil, it might attract a lot of fungicides. It might create an environment that is very attractive, humid for your basil. I assume that might be an issue. So try different stages with an advisor and transition slowly. Yeah. You don't need to go from 0 to 100 or whatever. But if you want export market, high quality, robust plants, it's time to do, I promise you.
We actually had the training, and we had another training here that was mentioned. I know who was here. I know Michael was here.
You remember when we had the first training here? We were told about the soil, all the fertilizer, the bricks level. We were told, and now, in fact, that's why I called them, because that they were mentioning that. So, we were told we need to reduce our food. But now, for us, we're still stuck in that. Are we sure? So, anyway, yes.
Production, and you want a sale to happen immediately. However, I know someone who has transitioned and is fully organic and exporting much more than what we are doing in Nanyuki, and they're fully organic. It's a doable thing. It just needs to take the first step.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. That's a really good word of encouragement. So what I can advise you is, what I can advise you is, shoot.
So what you're telling us is that if you make the compost in that way, only the good caterpillars are going to grow.
Okay, yeah, thank you for the question. There will be a biodiversity, yeah? And the bad caterpillar that is a concern to you will be a prey to someone else who will come due to the practice that you're doing. Yeah? I'm assuming you've done, what is caterpillars? Wasps? Birds. Yes, birds. So if you have, birds are attracted by color as well. And the wasp, I was not wrong. Yeah, so if you introduce these environments in your farm without using chemicals, trees will grow, birds will grow, and everything will come in your place. Yeah, that's why I was trying to ask you if we added water someplace. For a while, you'll see something has to change. And that is what takes care of you. You don't want to worry about by caterpillars anymore. They will be taken care of by someone else. The birds. Yeah? Or wasps or something else. They happen. It do happen. It's automatic. It's regenerative. It's how God placed it to happen. Yeah? And then for the market transition, what I tell you and what I try to encourage my farmers is, there's a project I did in Oletepesi, Tanga, when you're going to Magadi. And it was a tomato farm. And I went to this farm and the owner was like, I'm preaching organic. In fact, we were doing a talk with Rob, and then he approached me and said, I want you to come in my shamba, Professor Mbabu. And I went to the farm, and there was this agronomy of his that was so glued with absolute, the bags that feed on tomatoes. And I said to him, Twitter, absoluta. Yeah. Yeah, spider mite. I don't know. Yeah, the spider mites, yeah. Because I didn't know even what Twitter was. And I said to them, what I know is the moment you start composting, the moment you start going organic, no turning back, but we can also try and formulate some few things to help us control the pests. And one of the very good things I see working for me every time is rosemary and thyme and marigold, Mexican marigold. Those 3, and Tithonia, 4. So now, how do you formulate your natural pesticides? That's something that we are working on. We are doing a lot of research, a lot of trials, but it worked in that farm, and the tomatoes were amazing. I didn't see even a single spider mite. Neither did I see an aphid. I didn't see a white fly. And it's because of the formulations and understanding what these plants have. Thyme has got thymol. So when you're addressing the issue of pests, you have to ask yourself 2 questions. And Zay was very keen on his farm because he saw holes. That's an indicator that is a chewing pest insect, yeah? So it might be caterpillar, it might be, slugs, yes. And it might be some beetles as well. So there is a way of handling that, unlike if you had whiteflies which are sucking, or the absoluta which are sucking pests. So how we control these things differs. We did intercropping. We did lavender bushes in between the tomato rows. So lavenders kept off aphids and quite a number of stuff. And then I used to get rosemary, boil it a handful, boil it using water and some other ingredients, which I want to break it down to you not now. And we used to spray that. And to be honest, guys, things went on well. And that's why I'm so convinced now, saying, I think you don't need to turn back to your agrochemicals again. It's the moment you should also learn now, make it a passion of learning trees and what is present in these leaves and what can you make out of this. Yeah, like an issue of fungicide. Something like vermiliquid, which is very, very easy to make if you have the cake, has got fulvic acid. If you see here, Rob will take you through this. This was his water analysis. We actually also had our own tested worm tea, and it had this one thing that made me so happy, the fulvic acid. And if you know, and it's all because how we feed our worms, how we take care of them through bokashi waste and all that, and the benefits they give us, castings which are rich in fulvic acid and other goodies. And when you spray that to your crops, they suppress the fungal growth. So your basil will be smiling. No harm. But it's a journey. You have to know, what am I supposed to do now, the next step, and the third step before harvesting. What am I supposed to do? But the first thing to do is soil. If you work with your soil, I'm telling you, it will work with you. And you won't be an afraid farmer again. Kiongo, you will be growing basil and just watering it. And you'll be happy. And I'm telling you because Kenya Red Cross, where we work and teach with Michelle about sustainability, they have had the best basil from the young culinary chefs there, and the best parsley. The flavor is heavenly. They have never had such.
What are the Brix levels?
Brix levels, way above 100 if there is something above 100. But they're really, really so good. They are so good. Okay, now, I was to tell you how bokashi works. Now, when you get your waste in that bin, organic waste, yeah, you sprinkle the bokashi waste, the bokashi bran before.